In Gauteng. We are here for a media briefing by the Provincial Commissioner, Lieutenant General Tommy Mthombeni. He will be briefing, updating firstly on the Soweto incident where a 6-year-old was raped and murdered. And he will also give an update on the successes of the stabilization operations that we have in the province, the interventions that were done by for head office, province, as well as district at gang-affected areas, as well as in Tshwane. You remember the Jukulei, the spiking incidents, as well as the online-related robberies. General Mthombeni will go through his speaker notes, and when he is done, we will be taking the questions. Over to you. Oh, let me do the introductions of who is with General Mthombeni. On his right is the acting district commissioner.
Left, on my left. Yeah.
On his left is the acting Johannesburg district commissioner, Brigadier Daniel Mulifi Tsotsoto. And immediately on the right is the DPC, Deputy Provincial Commissioner Policing, Major General Fred Kekana. Then we have the station commander of Orlando. It's Brigadier Nontlantla Kubega, and then we have Brigadier Malulek, the station commander for Eldorado Park. Over to you, General.
Good morning to the management of the South African Police Service, the media houses present here, community members. I see there are community members. Maybe let me say I observe protocol. On the wake of this Thursday morning, we are doing the media briefing just to update the nation in terms of what is happening in Gauteng province. The first issue, which is currently buzzing the media space, it's the rape and murder of a 6-year-old in Orlando as of Monday. We are announcing that putting the team together led by the station commander. The station commander is here and the branch commander within Orlando Police Station. They work tirelessly. By yesterday night, we managed to get the suspect. The suspect, who can confirm, he has been put behind bars. The question will be, how sure are you that is the suspect? There was quite an intensive investigation, collaborating with some of the witnesses, and on that score, we are confirming as a South African Police Service of the arrest of the suspect for rape and murder of a 6-year-old. Of a concern on this case is that we still have quite a serious challenge with some of the South Africans. They keep on harboring illegal immigrants. I can confirm that this suspect is illegal so in South Africa. And yet we have in some of the South Africans, they are collecting rent, month in, the following month, they're collecting rent. We have done some work on this individual, tracking the individual, working closely with the Department of Home Affairs. He does have a passport. We realized that he entered in this country or in South Africa in 2022 or 4/11. Out of that, he returned on that particular year somewhere late, and he returned back to South Africa in 2022. He have never gone back to his country illegally so. This is a serious concern, and in terms of how do we deal with the illegal immigrants, I'll address it later as some of the aspects like covering your Operation Volume Godi to reflect clearly how many illegal immigrants do we arrest in this province. Secondly, we, as of Tuesday, in Clearwater, we know for the fact that there is also this issue of jewelry or the robbery at the jewelry shop at Clearwater. We have to indicate that we know for the fact that there's a cooperative agreement signed on the 10th for Johannesburg and Tshwane, and of course before that we signed for Ekurhuleni. These cooperative agreements were led by the Minister of the Police, Minister Mtunu, accompanied by the National Commissioner General Masemula with the management. We are seeing a positive results in terms of this cooperative agreement, as during the course of that robbery for the jewelry shop in Clearwater, there was indeed a serious problem in terms of the crossfire, where the suspect or the criminals, they shot at the law enforcement agency. I can confirm that this cooperative agreement is bearing fruit. Led with our crime intelligence, we had Gauteng Traffic Police, we had Johannesburg Metro Police, Gauteng Traffic Police, the Air Wing, security industry, where we managed to corner these criminals, and ultimately we arrested 7. Though from the initial stage it was 4 within that vicinity, and as we move forward towards Soweto, and then we arrested an additional of 3 with 4 firearms recovered. Though we had 2 of our members injured, members of the South African Police Service, and 3 of the suspects were injured. Thirdly, one has to reflect that we would like to update the nation for the past 6 months, as we have been on the ground since April up until September. We know for the fact that this is one of the provinces of which the communities are really affected in terms of crime. In response to these challenges as a province, we are, of course, have put measures in place in terms of stabilization, normalization, and ultimately sustain those affected areas. We have, of course, launched some operations with the national head office, and of course, we as a province and the other law enforcement agency, we know for the fact the anti-gang, it's something which is a challenge within this province, and more so when you cite the likes of Westbury, Sofa Town, Eldorado Park, here where we are, you are Langlaagte, the Robbery Park, to a certain extent you are Orlando Noordgesig, then Mohlakeng into Komsres. We have, for this period, arrested a total of 1,587, of which 65 is murders, 87 is attempted murder, 214 possession of unlicensed firearms and ammunition, and 1,221 dealing and possession of drugs. The conviction, just to share, maybe a conviction for this particular period, we had 1 life imprisonment and 41 years imprisonment relating to that. Then we are, of course, within that space, manage to recover, or within the space of the anti-gang, we managed to recover 235 unlicensed firearms, 2,638 ammunition, 50 kg or kilogram of various kinds of drugs. The drugs, it is a problem, as I've just spoken about the 50 kg. It is a problem within the province. We know for the fact that this province, we have challenges in terms of proliferations of illicit drugs. Our crime intelligence, together with the Organized Crime Investigation and the DPCI or the Hawks, we managed to detect and dismantle a clandestine drugs laboratory between April and September. Approximately 10 of them. We know in Douglasdale we were in that space, and the media was also in that space. Your breaking downs. And Didier, of late, we had one there in Hammanskraal and Bedford View. The other worrying factor is these continuously, in terms of these food poisoning, which around our schools, which is a concern. And what can one highlight is that with that, we know for the fact that children's, they buy this food either from there on the entrance of the school premises. You'll find that there are people, those who are seated there selling, or they go to the tuck shops. Of recent, we had in Bronkhorstspruit, that issue was related to people who are selling there next to the gate, of which quite over 20 children were affected. And then the recent one, I think we had in Ekurhuleni, so 19 children. What one has to indicate is that we work closely with the Department of, I would say, the environmental health within the cities, whereupon we are in a position to can deal with this issue in terms of the statutory laws, in terms of compliance, in terms of looking on the issues of illegal immigrants. We have since then arrested quite a number of those people, but of a concern, or what one can highlight to the nation, is that we have to be careful in using these, the bite which kills insects, because as we spray them along, or maybe on the walls in the house where we stay, these might be a problem, as well as these spaza shops. If you're having the problem of the rats or the problem of the insects, people, they normally spray that, and then sometimes food get prepared, or these Zimba chips, when they are bought, you'll find that they're having those. Because in Naledi, I think I spoke to the media, we got one of the cases, of which last year we had 5 cases, and then recently 6 cases. We had the results from the forensic lab, which clearly indicate that the cause of death is carbamate. The carbamate, it's a bait which kills insects, based on the pathologist's report. But having said that, with the schools, we also having some programs. Since that period which I've indicated, we had 344 school searches. We had also the drug awareness within the schools. We had the school safety campaigns conducted within those schools. We had 136 community outreach targeted the street imbizos within those schools. So we're working closely with the schools, with the school governing body, in ensuring that we have to ensure that our schools are and they feel safe through our Adopt a Cop project or programs. We know for the fact that Duke Lane, Reitgat, Soshanguve, which includes those police stations there in the surroundings, which is your Acacia, it's your Allocation, it's your Mabopani, within that vicinity. We had, of course, some challenges which we we have there, more especially in Duke Lane. In May this year, we were there in that space with the former Minister, General Tele, the National Commissioner, whereupon we launched the Stabilization team, and that team is still there deployed within that space, integratedly so, enhancing the cooperative agreement as well on that space. We have since then, May up until now, arrested a total of 206 people, varies from different crimes. We are, of course, having these challenges of the spiking incident, you know, the spiking along the N1, the N4, the R80, of which recently, I would say last week along the R55, M70, one of our own was shot and robbed, of which currently still hospitalized. We have activated a team along that space, though there are teams which we place them to ensure that they are continuously in that space. We managed to arrest people there, but two of them, those are the people whom we believe that they take part in terms of those robberies along that stretch. But all in all, since we have deployed our teams there, together with the crime investigation, we have arrested 36 people, of which these people, they have appeared in court and they remain in custody. And of course, we have recovered some firearms in that space. We also keep on having these challenges for online related incident. Again, here, we're just cautioning the community. You see something is advertised, what is advertised, you could see that is more cheaper than what you can get in a really shop. It is a concern if you get this advert, it's leading you, for example, in Winterfeld. It's a car worth 100,000. There they promise you a car. That car, it will be 20,000 or it will be 30,000. A community, they still fall into this trap, even though we have issued quite a number of the media statements, alerts. With this, we also having a team within that space, but we have since arrested 246 individuals along that space. The last one, which one would like to speak about, is Operation Valumgodi. We know this is a challenge. Operation Valumgodi is this illegal mining along the challenges along the West Rand, Johannesburg, Ekurhuleni, to a certain extent. I will say Silibeni, the surface mining, because they deal with this production on the surface in India. On this one, week in, week out, with the South African National Defence Force still in place, the Department of Mineral Resources and Energy, and other stakeholders within the city. We are in those spaces in terms of a disruptive operation. For this period, one could indicate that we have arrested 4,796 individuals. These 4,796, they include 3,657 illegal immigrants. 3,657 illegal immigrants. That's why I'm saying this issue of illegal immigrants, sometimes it is cited that the police were not doing enough, but I'm still saying South Africans, those who are harboring these illegal immigrants, because the majority, I would say almost all of them, they are staying in the yards owned by South Africans. South Africans, they are collecting rent. Like that case of the 6-year-old in Orlando, we are also zooming in terms of the issue of harboring. Most of the South Africans, they will feel, because when we move there, we find that you are harboring the illegal immigrants. We're not going to leave you. We find that you have employed illegal immigrants, it's going to be a problem. So on that score, with this Operation Volume Godi, or this illegal mining, we also got unlicensed firearm, 104 unlicensed firearm. And this includes 12 rifles. The ammunition is 2011. The various explosive, as we put on the count, is 1,154. The gold-bearing materials for 1,320 kg. Furthermore, I often get this question to say, hey, but don't you think this is a fruitless exercise we are undertaking as a South African Police Service? My answer is no, because you'll have to understand that there are levels. From level 3 to 5, we are looking as to say these individuals, those who are there, working there, whom are they working for? So with the Hawks, we had, or we are having 3 projects which is rated under level 3, of which is rated from level 3 upwards, of which in one of the projects, because these projects, they are coded, we managed to have a breakthrough. Though the question will come to say 2022 is a very long time, you will understand the project. It's not something which you work and then you quickly address it. On that score, for the one which we have executed and were successful in 2022, we managed to arrest 6 suspects, those who are really people who are on the higher level. And then we have seized more than 20 million worth of assets, of which this is related to the state's forfeiture. And that coded project, this one we can indicate, is Operation Gillette. So we'll continue to work, to be on the ground with all the stakeholders. We'll just like to thank the South Africans, the communities where these crimes they are committed, for working with us closely. Though sometimes we know that the communities, they are impatient in terms of some of the breakthrough, but we'll really like to thank the community, and more so with the recent case in Orlando for rape and murder of the 6-year-old child. We really appreciate the cooperation we're having from the community. I thank you.
Thank you, General. For the questions, you will state your name and the media house that you're representing, and pose your question to the General.
General, my name is Sophia from I just got 2 questions. The first one relates to the Langlaagte incident. If we are saying that what the kids had contaminated, what had in the system was something that was supposed to be used for insects, does this mean that criminally nobody can be held liable for this? In as much as there could have been some sort of neglect in terms of using these things in an unsafe way, number 1. Number 2, when you go to Orlando East, is there a possibility that those that are harboring illegal immigrants can also be arrested? Is there a possibility that in the current case that when I stand there could be arrested.
There have been some sort of not allegations that we've spoken to in regards to some of these partnerships and directors who have pointed out that in those cases the children have eaten substance called alcohol, which is quite known to be illegal. And this is we've come to find this was actually being sold publicly in your community. So what is that police doing in situations like this, especially considering that it can be accessible to anyone?
Let me take the third one for the PC response. This line.
Okay. Morning to the PC. It was hard for Mr. before. On the issue of the Orlando incident, when, where, and how was the suspect arrested? Because there are reports that he was caught in Afghan incident. Just to clarify this. And then back to the issue of landlords being arrested. Your predecessor used to hammer a lot about the law going to bite landlords who have illegal immigrants. How are you going to exercise this? Because it's common fact that the majority of illegal immigrants are being harbored in our country.
Let me let General respond to the three, then we'll take
Okay.
another round.
All right. In respect of Naledi incidents, of which last year we had 5, of which out of 5, 3 of them passed on, and then now the recent one, which was quite buzzing the media space for 5, and then of late the 6th one passed on. The fact remain that what I've said in terms of the outcome of the forensic lab results, these results, they come from people who have studied, people who have a knowledge of these aspects, and the pathologists, they reflected that it is carbamate, which when you check on it, because you can check on it, you can try and check what does it mean, that it is a bait which kills the insect, but that does not mean that it overrules the question of saying that this alipirima might have been used, because it's a common knowledge that in our residential places, when we got challenged in terms of the rats, in terms of the insects, we use those, of which one cannot overrule to say after we have applied it, highly probable they might be at the end of the day, touching some of the food, and of course this remain there. Not to say one is saying somebody is not going to be held criminally liable, but the investigation, yes, of course, as they have taken the samples from those areas where it's suspected that they might have taken that. So we'll move with the investigation and going forward, and then we'll see who will be held responsible thereof. The issue of Orlando harboring illegal immigrants, I can confirm that we are close on this matter, and we have ensured that we have to launch that investigation in terms of the the owner of that particular space. And we're working closely with those witnesses, and soon we'll address this issue of harboring within that space. I think Liprima and then that issue, and then I've touched on it, and then where was this particular suspect arrested. The allegations that he was arrested in the afternoon, yeah, indeed, you are saying is the allegations, and will remain the allegations. I think the media space was buzzing in that space in the morning, so the police could not, keep a crucial information to the community. Some of the media houses, they were there live. And there was this individual who was caught in there in a white, it was a white vehicle, who was almost killed. But the station commander quickly went there, and we tried to rescue that individual. So one will say it's not true, these allegations, because by then we were expected to indicate where is the suspect. Though the communities themselves, they also know that they were socializing with this particular individual, and this individual was harbored thereof. So this person was arrested in Soweto, and yeah, we were in a position to can arrest him late in the evening, not in the afternoon. I should think between 9 and 10 in the evening, not in the afternoon. So I should think that is what we can share with the nation.
Thank you, General. We will take another round. We'll start with General.
Thank you very much, General. In the stance that you just presented, I did not hear anything about the arrest of police officers that are found to be working, excuse me, with criminals in these crimes that you have mentioned. If you remember correctly, in Rikhat and in Jubilee, most community members were complaining about how SAPS officials are working very well with these criminals. Hence, they are very comfortable. And also, if you look at this area, which is Eldorado Park, there's also been allegations from community members that there are some police officers that are enabling such crimes to, continue happening. I just want to know, in all these arrests that you have made over the period of 6 months, are there no police officers that were implicated?
Thank you. Let me take the second one.
Thank you, General. This is General Tommy Mthombeni, and maybe just to follow up on Zola's question as well. Just in terms of the communities, they do talk about the police also being involved with criminals themselves. Is that lack of trust not concerning to the police, and how are you dealing with these bad apples? And then you saw last week, or almost 2 weeks ago, in Orange Farm, there was a mass murder there. What is the plan to address the possibility of an increase in mass murders in the province? And maybe just also in terms of the way the criminal justice system works, are you satisfied you had issues of repeat offenders, people being released on bail, just in terms of the numbers that you did read out? Is the legal system or the criminal justice system enough of a deterrent to criminals and the sort of activities or actions that they perpetrate? And then please can you just repeat the arrest that you talked about at the beginning about from April to September, the 1,587 and the 65 murders, I think, and the attempted murders,
Let me take the new hands. Oh, sorry, last one.
Continuing from that slide, just go back on the Landlord issue. Are you saying that are you going to investigate that landlord, specifically that landlord with regard to this case? Thank you.
Thank you. I'll come back to you. Zola.
Sorry, something that I forgot to know. So I just want to find out. Another issue that was mentioned was the inadequate or police stations that are not well resourced, and that apparently there's some discrimination in the area. So in an area of this kind where there has to be more resources because of the nature of crimes or violent crimes that are happening, sometimes there are issues of bands not being available, or police being understaffed and all of that. And then you have areas where there are less crimes, but there are more resources because maybe that area is a special area. Have you also addressed those issues, or have you also looked into those issues? Because areas like Langlaagte and your social movement, what community members were complaining about was the fact that those police stations are not resourced, and they are servicing huge communities that actually have high range of crimes, violent crimes to be quite specific. So have you also looked into such issues?
Thank you, Zola. Let's take Mr. Nifo, then allow the PC to respond, then we'll come back for the last round. Yeah.
Back to the Orlando issue, General. I hear you saying that the suspect was arrested in Soweto. Where specifically in Soweto? And from Amandiro, please correct me if I'm wrong. I think you're insinuating that the suspect was being harbored by a South African national. If so, why was that person not arrested? Secondly, why was the owner of the property where this illegal immigrant was renting the property, why was he or she not arrested? Since you say that you want to target people who harbor illegal immigrants in the property.
I think you will allow General to give responses, but Zola, in respect of the police officers that have been arrested, we do not have the updated one. We'll get it before the end of the media briefing. We have the one that ends until August. So we just want to add the other month.
I know.
Okay. Salam, General.
In terms of the addressing the police, as the police, they oftentimes some of the police that get involved in crimes. I think the last release which we made, it was over 61 we arrested of our own, of which the dismissal was around 16 dismissal, those of which we put for departmental process, and ultimately they got dismissed from the South African Police Service. The crimes ranging from murder, ranging from your assault, ranging to some of the crimes, rapes. So we are hands-on in terms of ensuring that we deal with our own, as you regard them as bad apples. You also cited that the mass murders, or multiple murders, if I can call them. You cited one incident in Orange Farm. Specifically, that one is at Mukokotlo in Orange Farm. What we're appealing on is that these crimes, they are committed within the communities and by the community. So on that score, or the crime, is one of the community members who was owning a liquor outlets. They had altercations and ultimately assaults in between, and this particular person could not compose himself and ultimately went home and took a firearm, and this incident happened. You can see this is not related to robbery as such. It's related purely to the communities, those who are really the anger, I don't understand what type of anger is that one where you'll ultimately have to mop out, 7 people. So what we are saying is that we have to work closely together with the community. And I always say the government have approved, or the cabinet have approved the whole government approach. Dealing with crime is not to say we have to deal with crime, the police must make a prevention solely. You're having different pillars. We're having 6 pillars, as I always say. One of the critical pillars is the community involvement. Community involvement in which sense? We know for the fact that in Gauteng, we're having the issue of the community patrols, of which we are having over 7,000 within the communities. And some of the communities were seated in collaborating with us in ensuring that we work closely together so that we can deal with these crimes, precisely. So those 6 pillars, they are really important, and we have to make sure that we work together. Under those 6 pillars, there is a criminal justice system. We collaborate, as we know for the fact, is the police, is justice, from justice, then it's a correction or correctional service. We work closely together in ensuring that we collaborate on that space so that at the end of the day, they have to be clearly the results which comes out. It has to be harnessed. In terms of the statistics which I've reflected, which you're asking, is in relations to the anti-gangs. I think I clearly indicated that the anti-gangs areas affected, your Westbury, Sofar Town, this place, Langlaagte River, Recher Park, to a certain extent, Orlando North Geseg, Motlhakeng, Toekomsrus. We had a total of 1,587, 1,587, of which 65. Those are the arrests, of which 65 were for murders, 87 attempted murder, 214 possession of unlicensed firearms and ammunition, and dealing and possession of drugs, 1,221. With a further conviction for that specific period, 1 life imprisonment and 41 years. The landlord, indeed, we have opened a case for harboring of this individual. We also looking on the issue of the witnesses linked to the landlord, whereupon we are looking on the question of saying that when we take this matter to court, ultimately at the end of the day, the witness must not be compromised. So we have opened that case, and we know who's this landlord. We're just working through that this suspect has to appear in court. It will not be today. We can say tomorrow will definitely appear in court so that we can move forward in respect of this issue. I am not insinuating that this particular individual is harboring. It's a clear harboring. As this individual I indicated is having a passport, and he have entered the country in 2022 in April, and you can see his movement. He moved out of South Africa late 2022, he came back, and then based on the passport, he have never returned back. So that particular individual is illegal. So in South Africa, I'm not insinuating anything. Those are the facts which we have And yes, yeah, of course, we arrested him in Soweto, in Zola area. In that space, he also have a rented room in that other space where he moved to. So one can confirm that we are really hard at work in ensuring that justice has to be served through the criminal justice system. More resources. You have to understand that in terms of allocating resources, South African Police Service were very much organized. A police station like this one is a brigadier station. We don't wake up and decide this police station must be a brigadier station. And being a brigadier station, you must have so many members. You must have so many vehicles. There is a proper investigation taking into account a number of issues. You'll take the population within that area, you'll take the influx of people, you'll take the crimes which is prevalent within that area as it is reported, as we keep a record, and based on that, investigation by our organizational development, we take a decision. But safe to say, every year we take stock, which is submitted by the station commanders, which we call input sheets, because you might have a population of 10 and next year is 50. Then the input sheet is derived from the station where the station commander must certify, but this has to be documentary proof. For example, to say, I detained 1,000 detainees within the cells, it has to correlate with the cell register. I've certified so many documents, it has to correlate with that. So we take decision based on that. And the deployment of the resources, human, physical, is based on that. When we go, for example, for Operation Shanyela, the first thing, we arrive very early. The first thing, we're taking a brief. And on the computer system, we're having so-called efficiency index. We can tell you in this police station, the personnel is fixed establishment is supposed to be so many, and actual they are having so many. If there are gaps, we are in a position to can address that, continuously. Vehicles as well, we can tell you fixed establishment is so many, actual is so many, they are running short of so many. Because with vehicles, there's a wear and tear. There's the mileage, vehicles get boarded, and with the process flow of purchasing the vehicle as management, we are in a position to can allocate those resources, accordingly. And as and when we do the intake in the South African Police Service entirely, the province get a specific portion based on those aspects which I've indicated, based on the challenges of the province. For example, in Gauteng, we're having roughly 16 million of the population in terms of the media estimate statistics South Africa for 2022. And over and above that, we also having a specific portion of the crime statistics in terms of the reported crime statistics. So we're addressing those issues holistically in that way. That's why I'm saying the South African Police Service is very much organized, we are very much structured, so we know exactly. In Reitgart, people might raise that concern. But what I know, I've been in that space, The issue of the resources we have looked into. Same applies to this where we are here in Eldorado Park. We have looked into the issue of the resources, and we are balancing the issues of the resources across the province out of 145 police stations currently.
Thank you, General. If there's still any, we'll take the last round. Let's take the new hands first.
We are obviously on a specific focus for the gangster areas. I just want to know in broad terms, where are we at with this fight and to manage these type of gang-related crimes, and just how difficult is it to address these type of issues to ensure that the communities are safe firstly, and also that things don't explode and become too difficult to contain in a province like the Western Cape.
SABC?
Good morning, Patricia Prasad from the SABC. Now, before the briefing started, obviously we touched base with some of the community members in this particular area on the issues around the ongoing gang-related violence. Some of them are saying that, yes, they see the effort on the ground, but it's not paying off as much as they want to, as the violence routine, their lives continue to be in danger. People are still gunned down even yesterday. One community member even saying that the anti-gang unit is not really, showing the force that they were hoping for. What is the police response to this criticism and concern? What's done to perhaps beef up efforts so that we can see more positive feedback from the community?
Thank you.
Morning, my name is Bafana Nzimana from OFM. My question relates to the area called Provincial here in Allocation. I've been getting information that there seems to be an increase of house robberies in that space. And residents are claiming that people have been shot and killed inside their homes, that ladies have been raped. I wanted to find out, are you aware of this? And do you have any indication who might be involved in these crimes? Because there's two versions. Some are saying it's illegal minors operating near the community, and some are saying it's young people who form gangs to commit these crimes.
Thank you. Old hands.
Okay, back to Orlando. Sorry, back and forth from Orlando to Eldorado Park. Thank you very much for your response. But we have to pin you down to some serious. Thank you very much. Back to Orlando. You mentioned the harboring of illegal. We know for a fact that the population of Sokoto is humongous. How are you going to win this war? Because it seems like the police for the ordinary trauma district would be saying that the police are taking bread from the mouth. How are you going to arrest? Because almost every house is harboring an illegal immigrant. How are you going to arrest it? Almost the entire population of Sokoto. And how are you prepared to deal with the anger that might be meted against officers on the ground? Thank you.
What? I did not hear. I said it. Okay, she got it.
Yeah,
okay.
And then thinking about the illegal immigrants, can we just
Okay? Can I?
This is the last round.
General, last year, the former minister and his entourage went to, I'm going back to the issue of gang-related crimes. So they went to areas, in fact, I think they went to Westbury, right? Obviously, that was a response of, issues of gang-related crimes and shootings and all of that. So what I just want to find out is that, have you then gone back to those communities in Robbery, Eldorado Park, Westbury, just to mention a few that I remember right now, to find out if, the team that you've deployed to actually deal with such crimes has had an impact? Is it not one of those situations where things are still the same, basically? Because I think that's what we are getting from community members. Is it that maybe they're not seeing, impact, or really there hasn't been much change, especially in Westbury and Eldorado Park?
Okay.
The last one.
Coming back to the resources that's deployed in communities, we haven't seen much change, especially within Eldorado Park, and it's putting a station commander on a back foot because they are, as we reported yesterday, it was again a shooting, but then there's 4 other incidents that happened within the area, but there's not enough vehicles and resources to accommodate the station. If you look at Eldorado Park, and which the station they service a community, if you look at kilometers, about 12 kilometer radius, because it ranges from Eldorado Park all the way to Viking, down to Wakenhof, and at times there's only 3 vehicles available. Isn't that putting the station at the back foot, as well as putting the brigadier under pressure? Although we're seeing a lot of operations going on a weekly basis, there's still not enough being done. And the second thing is, what is the South African Police Services doing with the minors, the underage kids that is involved with the violent crimes that we are seeing in Eldorado Park, Westbury, more specifically, because most of the arrest is 14-year-olds that have been taking place within Eldorado Park. What contingency plan is in place for those areas and those kids that is being involved? Because they just get pushed back into the system or back into the areas and continue their life of crime.
No, it will end up being a lot of questions. I think we must manage it, please.
No, we are not closing General.
But we must manage it.
The next one will be from zone. You cover.
We must manage it. If we don't manage it, then it's a problem. The last speaker, I think it's a high time that the community must work closely with the police, and the community must take responsibility for their children. You are clearly indicating is the minors, but you're leaving all these things to the hands of the police. One will not understand why we are unable to manage or to deal with our own children. That to me does not make sense. Because if these children, they are taken care of by the parents, we're supposed to have less of these challenges. But having said that, we know for the fact that we are working closely with the community in trying to deal with the problems of the crime. But the other thing is that it sounds like you are feeling pity for the station commander to say the station commander is feeling pressure and all that. We are exposed. This police station is for the brigadier as a senior management. I call them the CEO. When we do the interviews, people, they promise heaven and earth, so people must deliver. People must deliver. So we can have a situation where, for example, in Eldorado Park, you are having a specific number of vehicles, and the station commander takes a discretion in deploying them. When the community asks to say, yeah, you have deployed only 2 vehicles, the station commander can't answer. We can't have that situation. When you check, we send people, I know what you're talking about. We send people to come in here, to come and check. We find that vehicles are there for visible policing, because there's a vehicle for visible policing, there's a vehicle for detectives. So, when you check vehicles is there, and then the station commander takes vehicles and deploy them for this specific purpose, that specific purpose, the priority is that the community must be served. To feel pity for the station commander is not going to help. He have signed a performance agreement, must deliver. And will hold that station commander responsible across the province. So we can't be having a station commander who feels pressure when he is supposed to serve the community. So we can't have that. And we're not going to allow that as management. The issue of gang-related, which is a concern raised by the media, to say, are we making any inroads? I will say yes, we are indeed making an inroads, but what is important, we are saying the whole government approach, we must work closely with the community. In terms of this whole government approach, one of the pillars is the integrated governmental programs. The integrated governmental programs here, I can give example that we having Gauteng Traffic Police, we're having the Air Wing for Gauteng Traffic Police, we're having the Johannesburg Metro Police, we're having your RTMC, which is a National Traffic Police. They are augmenting the operational activities within our policing prisons. Specifically on this one, the community, they know for the fact that there was an address where firearms were hidden. And some of the communities, they know about that information, but they are not given that information. We were ultimately in that space with Johannesburg Metro Police, with Gauteng Traffic, the Air Wing, and we infiltrated that area and we got guns in that space. So the community, they are also contributing. But with this, having said that, we have dedicated a special workforce for the anti-gang, relating to the investigation, relating to the visible policing. As a province, in collaboration with the National Commissioner, we have put a person on the level of a brigadier to make sure that these issues of the gangs is taken care of. I will give you an example. In Eldorado Park only, from January to September, we arrested 69 individuals with 54 firearms recovered, only in Eldorado Park, with 401 ammunition. If we are not working closely with the community, how on earth will we get these 69 individuals? And here, this is related to the charges of murder and attempted murder, of which it does not exclude gang-related. So this is an effort put by the South African Police Service, working closely with the community. The issue of you still continuously have crimes which are perpetrated We know the incident of yesterday, and we're working closely with the community in resolving this, more so our crime intelligence, so that we can address the issues of the gangs. And we are still appealing to the community to say, let's work together. Though we're working together, but let them also take a responsibility, because there's a parenting. All these people, they are of a younger age. The parenting is a problem. So let's move and try and work together, and we can do more. Then Bram Fisher house robberies, the people are killed, illegal immigrants. We know Bram Fisher is bordering this Rodipo Soliplaiki. That Soliplaiki in terms of illegal mining in that space. We know that there were bodies which were picked up on that border, of which we are, of course, investigating, but within Soliplaiki, I think it's this year, February, we had picked up 6 bodies within that mining area. Then we zoomed in. We worked with the intelligence. We ended up arresting an individual with almostly, I think it's 3 firearms with the rounds, over 40 rounds within that space. From time to time, we are in that space in order to ensure that we address these crimes of which it is a concern. And with illegal immigrants surrounding the mines, I have indicated that since April up until September, we have arrested 4,796 individuals, 4,796. 3,657 is illegal immigrants. The confiscation in terms of firearm, trying to minimize as we get these firearms, the shootings. We managed to get 106 firearms, including 12 rifles. The ammunition we got within those spaces, which includes that space next to Bram Fisher, is 2011, with various explosives, 1,154. So we believe that we're making inroads in terms of these arrests. But however, this crime kept on being committed, of which we are saying the whole government approach is the way to go, and will keep on be in those spaces, the affected areas, in terms of Operation Shanyela, in terms of suspect rate, in terms of intelligence-driven operations. The harboring illegal immigrants, I see it keeps on coming, that we must arrest the entire community, the entire Soweto. I think maybe it's insinuating that all people who stays in Soweto, because he likes this insinuating. It's insinuating that all people who stays in Soweto, they are harboring illegal immigrants. But one could say, like on my opening remarks, I say some of the South Africans. I don't think it's all people who are staying in Soweto, those who are keeping illegal immigrants. But we'll never get tired. You must just take note. It's just that when you ask the questions, it gets directed to the South African Police Service. But the whole government approach is the way to go. We work with our sister department, Department of Home Affairs. We know for the fact that the Department of Home Affairs, even Shanyela during the night, even today, they are with us. They are on the operational area. As and when we work with them, we find that there is illegal immigrants. Will deal with such. But arresting the whole Soweto, maybe that's the call, that we must arrest the whole Soweto. But we can only do that if we find that these people are being harbored within that space. The passport, I should think I don't know whether something is circulating, but that passport, the Department of Home Affairs, with the police, we got the passport, and clearly, by mere reading, you'll see that the expiry date is there. It's 2027. Yeah, but if the expiry date is 2027, it does not mean that you have got the right to be in South Africa. That's a passport. It's not a South African passport. And the person got into the country 2022 or 4/11. So obviously you get into the country by that time. It does not mean that that passport is for South Africa, because it's the passport for Mozambique. Ne? So we have to say the passport is expiring on that particular year. The Batlu incident in terms of people whom we have arrested within that space, it's Ethiopians. It's Ethiopians, it's 47. And 35 adults, not arrested, those who are illegally in the country, not arrested, people who are illegal in the country, but we have taken them because they are illegal in the country. It's 47, 35, it's adults, 12, it's children. There is a person who have harbored these people. He have also been arrested, and they have since appeared in court. So we'll continue to deal with those issues relating to that. This is not the first incident. We once had one in Sandringham. Ne? We once had one in Sandringham not so long. So we'll continue working with the Hawks. This one. Okay. I'm not too sure whether we have to indicate it, because we indicated the last update because this one relates to April to September. I should think we'll stick to that statistics which we have provided.
Okay, thank you, colleagues. I think, thank you, General.
Okay.
I think this brings us to the end of our media briefing. Thank you so much. I'm not sure if SABC since one-on-one.
They still want one-on-one? But they want me to be insinuating. This one. This one is yours.
No,